Hello, dear friends. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Denning, and I'm NeuroGraphic instructor, artist, head teacher, and aesthetic coach at Psychology of Creativity Institute. Today, I will be joined by our graduate from the Russian instructor course, Anna Morallee, and I hope that it will work and she'll be able. So I'm just waiting for her to join. So Anna, oh yes, so you joined. Hello, fantastic.
Hello.
The Instagram gods granted this live, so that's lovely. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Okay, very well, thank you. The weather is lovely.
It is.
Um, so let's. So you are a neurographic instructor, and can you please tell me, so if, how did you learn about NeuroGraphica? How did you know about NeuroGraphica?
So it was simple. The ad caught my attention. It was the picture and the topic of money limitations that drew me in. And that was September 21 when I attended my very first workshop drawing NeuroGraphica. I've actually prepared my first ever drawing, so that was it. It was algorithm for removing limitations, and that was the beginning of the journey, because from that very first picture I knew somehow that it was my path. And I just remember that feeling watching the presenter and thinking, I want to do what she does. Never mind anything else. I just want to do what she does. And then it kind of took me on a journey through basic user level, then specialist, and then the instructor. So it was like this really quick transition from not knowing what it is, not being an artist by trade. I was working as an insight analyst at the time. Um, completely changing my life and entering a new profession.
Oh, wonderful. Tell me more. You said you actually went through all the steps. So you've taken the basic user course, then you went on to become a specialist. Can you please tell me a little bit more about the specialist course? What was your case for the specialist course, and kind of how did it change your life?
So it happened quickly because first drawing was in September, and by October I was doing my basic with Pavel. So the basic user was interesting because it was like a detox process. So it was like cleansing my environment. I lost a toxic friendship at that time. I didn't know it was toxic, but then I know now. And then kind of November, December, I was already enrolled in the specialist course, because at that time I wasn't sure whether or not I was ready to be an instructor. I wasn't sure if which path was the right one for me. So I thought I'll take that, see how that goes, and then I'll make a decision. My case actually was in NeuroGraphica instructor. And by the end of December, after I finished the specialist, I enrolled to become an instructor. So it was a very interesting experience. It was my first taste of coaching, both as coaching other people and receiving the sessions from fellow specialists, students. And it was a moment of like discovering the gifts that I have that I wasn't aware of, and finding out that I enjoy the process of coaching people, that I can take people from A to B and get results. So I was a complete newbie. I know that specialist course is like amazing for people who already have a practice in place, and it can be intimidating for people who's never done it, who has no clients, no audience, and no prior experience. So I was the second part, the person
Yeah.
with no audience, no clients, and no prior experience, and yet the course was rich enough to teach me the skills that someone needs to enter the profession and become a specialist.
Yes. I love my specialist course. It was a complete game changer for me. And if anybody's interested of doing this basic user course or the specialist, if you go to the website, it is in our bio, you'll be able to enroll in courses. And there's actually the specialist course that is starting middle of July. So, and I highly recommend for anyone who wants to try that coaching profession and who wants to, enrich their toolkits to join it. Anna, do you remember your cases, the ones that you did for the specialist course? Do you remember what your clients' cases were about? Because obviously, those of you who will enroll in the specialist course, you will know that you will need to work with so-called cold client and a warm client. And cold client, somebody who's never heard about NeuroGraphica before, and warm client is normally your colleagues in the course. So do you remember what were your client cases for the specialist?
I do remember, yes. So my warm client was one of the students on the course, and she was working towards increasing her income, and she wanted to earn 1 million rubles. Talking
Yeah.
about rubles, because she was yeah, I was doing that in Russian, and the cold client, she was working on the promotion. She wanted to up her career. Um, I am still in touch with my cold client because she was my work colleague at the time, and she was the girl in local in England. She has an amazing career now. Actually,
Mhm.
she did get a promotion, and then kind of ever since she's been getting promoted and promoted to different roles, and she has a very important senior role now in management in that company.
Oh,
So
lovely.
it worked.
That's amazing. That's an amazing outcome for the cases. And for those of you who are thinking of doing the specialist course, please remember that if you join the specialist course and later want to progress onto aesthetic coaching course, that's you will have a massive discount to join the aesthetic coaching course because aesthetic coaching course is for somebody who hasn't had experience as a coach and would like to get coaching certification and learn like amazing models to be able to work with people, and you will get the official Psychology of Creativity Institute or also European Center of NeuroGraphica certificates. So how did you enjoy the aesthetic coaching course?
Yeah, so I did both because at the time it was compulsory, you kind of get both of them. I joined in 22. We did instructor and aesthetic coaching together. It was intense. I think I didn't realize how much material and lectures and demo sessions and algorithms that would involve in that module, and actually quite an extensive work and portfolio with that. Um, Although it's worth the time and investment, and certainly does add the next like layer of knowledge and professionalism on top of the specialist. I mean, specialist is great, but this is the next step, and it's a long program. It takes almost like 9 months to go through that. And the best thing about it was there were a lot of practical sessions where you get to watch the coaching in real life, watching how it's done, not just like the theory, this is the algorithm, but being part of the coaching process, sort of like this side door, and enjoying the process. So that was my favorite part of the course.
Wonderful. And obviously, during the aesthetic coaching, you also need to work on your own cases. So, were there any? Did you want to tell us a story or something that happened to you during the specialist or aesthetic coaching course? I mean, kind of because we were speaking before that, and you wanted to talk about kind of the miracle of NeuroGraphica. So, do you have any stories that you would like to share?
So the the specialist course, it was a bit of a marathon for me because I had this insane goal that I need to finish it within like 6 weeks because I wanted to enroll an instructor before the end of the year because of the pricing and all that. And I think, I don't know, if it was any other course and I was using any other modality, I wouldn't be able to pull it off. You know, drawing NeuroGraphica certainly helps me to keep my focus. Is one of the things that um, kind of universal across my life. It brings me focus, and makes me more productive and goal orientated. During aesthetic coaching, and it's hard to pin which course obviously was the influence or the catalyst, because I was doing them in parallel with the instructor. So I take it that as a whole, instructor and aesthetic coaching, I can't separate them and say, yeah, this part worked for this or this part worked for that. But there were a lot of amazing things happening for me. So I joined the 22 course, and I opened kind of my school while I was a student. And by summer, I was doing my first basic course, and I had a group of 10, and I was absolutely elated. By August 22, I went completely teetotal, and I still am. So it'll be 3 years in August since I don't want to have or need for any alcohol or anything else. For absolutely amazing kind of realization. And I guess it's come through the self-love as well, a lot of like personal development and understanding who I am and what my value is, and that sort of not poisoning myself with alcohol kind of came with that. I think it was majorly influenced by having a tool in my life that helps me to deal with my emotions, or helps me to relax, helps me to face the challenges without the need to, I don't know, self-medicate or find, you know, a less healthy outlet for difficult situations. And by kind of, so that was August, and in November the 22, I, again, through NeuroGraphica, because I was doing networking and I was doing a course for self-employed, I came across the funded master's degree in entrepreneurship. So I get £11,000 to do a master's degree in England, which, like, I didn't even have a dream, because I didn't think these things can happen or possible, getting somebody paying for your master's in the university. And yeah, I went self-employed, full-time self-employed in October. In November, I got the grant to do my masters, and started masters in January 23. So I definitely think that is a miracle, one of those things that I wasn't expecting to come my way. So and I'm very grateful to NeuroGraphica. I wouldn't be there if I wasn't trying to build a business. I wouldn't know about that opportunity. And I qualified and got my master's certificate. I had graduation, just like in the movies. I tossed the hats, I had a gown, and that was definitely beyond the wildest dreams, being a university student and not having a debt after that. It was quite amazing. I have a lot of different stories about NeuroGraphica, sort of big and small, but this probably is one of the biggest ones.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's yeah, that's, I mean, NeuroGraphica is amazing, and it does change life and transform lives. So thank you very much for sharing that. For those of you who are listening, you know, Anna was saying that there's quite a lot, because in the Russian speaking course you need to take NeuroGraphic instructor and NeuroGraphic aesthetic coaching together. Fear not, in the English language courses it is separate. So if you want to enroll into the NeuroGraphic aesthetic coaching course, you take first the NeuroGraphic instructor course, and then once you finish it, once you submit all paperwork, then you can join the NeuroGraphica aesthetic coaching course. And enrollment is open now, and the course starts on 1st of November. So anybody who would like to become a NeuroGraphic instructor, a specialist, or NeuroGraphic aesthetic coach, please check out the website. Anna, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure to have you here, and best of luck.
Thank you so much, Anna. Have a
Okay,
good day.
bye bye.
Bye.